What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Just, back in another video. There's your one-stop shop for anime and manga. Let's get into it. I want to start by saying thank you to everyone for subscribing. If you're new here and you like my content, you like what I'm doing, consider subscribing, leaving a like, hit the bell so posting a video, follow me on Twitter, links gonna be in the description. What's up, y'all? So today we're going to be doing my long-awaited video. So if you've been following my videos for a while, you know that every year I do what manga I've read throughout the entire year, and I am super excited to share with y'all. Now, just basically for the short of it, I've read, 43 different series. That's insane. I didn't think I read that much. Now, 43 different series comes in a whole bunch of different shapes and sizes. I by no means did even attempt to see how many manga volumes or even chapters that's going to be. So we just going to have to dive right into it. Sit back, relax, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. I am going to break it down a little bit for y'all. So I do have what I call my weeklies, which are, typically my Shonen Jump, Viz manga series that I'm reading every week or pretty much every month. Then I'm going to switch over to my online series because I do read the majority of manga online these days. And then, of course, lastly, I'm getting into my physical series. So some of my physical collection that I've read. Alright, so without further ado, let's get it started with all the manga I've read in 2025. So real quick, the manga series I'm going to talk about, they're in no particular order because I probably would have gone crazy if I'm trying to list out what I read. I read this from January to whatever. I read this from, February to March. I would have gone crazy trying to keep track of everything because I just read. I don't think about nothing while I'm reading throughout the year. The only thing I do is I just log what I've read while I'm reading it so that way I can make this video at the end of it. So, the first thing I read was One Piece. So, here's obviously volume 1 of One Piece, but I am not reading One Piece physically. I'm actually reading them online. So, the first thing, like I said, we starting with is my weeklies. So, I am reading One Piece weekly. So, at the recording of this video, we are currently in Elbaf, and we just finished the, with, the Rocks Pirates and basically everything that happened in God Valley. I absolutely love One Piece. Elbaf is a little bit with me right now, but I did really love that backstory, so I can't wait to continue reading One Piece. Hopefully this will end maybe 2026, I can hope, but I don't gotta explain One Piece because everyone knows One Piece, right? So after that, I read Boruto. So I'm still reading Boruto. I've been reading Boruto since it came out. So this is like a changeover from 2024 into 2025. And you'll notice, especially with my weeklies, a lot of them just roll into the next year. So with Boruto, I'm actually reading 2 Blue Vortex. So that is just Boruto Shippuden, and it is amazing. I mean, this one really has not had a bad chapter. Not really. The only thing I don't like is, even though this is in my weekly section, is actually a monthly series. So I read it whenever it comes out every month. I have not missed a month, and I am super excited because it's really good. 2 Blue Vortex is completely just like a different pace than the original Boruto series. And unfortunately, you do have to read, beginning of Boruto to understand 2 Blue Vortex. I wish you didn't because I would just put people onto 2 Blue Vortex. It's that good. After that is I Want to End This Love Game. So this is a rom-com series that it's about 2, childhood friends. They try to make each other flustered by flirting with each other, saying that, I love you to each other. And they just trying to get them to lose the I love you game, right? The problem with that is they actually both do really like each other. So they are crushing on each other. And they don't want to lose the game. So they over here doing all this flirtation. They basically dating at this point. And there is just like a will they, won't they. And I do like this type of rom-com series. It's nice, it's fun, it's enjoyable. This one doesn't come out like weekly per se. It's really sporadic. Sometimes it's weekly, sometimes it'll be bi-weekly, sometimes it's like monthly. So that's why that's in this category right now. After that is Kagurabachi. This broke the internet when this was released, and rightfully so. Kagurabachi, it is an amazing series. Kagurabachi follows Chiharu's quest to avenge his father, who's a master swordsman, by reclaiming the 6 stolen enchanted blades, And it's so much more than that, right? Because the series itself is so much more than just the main character trying to get revenge on his father's killers. And it really broke the internet by storm because when this was released, everyone loved it for the art style. Everyone loved it for how much action was in the Shonen Jump series. And even Shonen Jump has really been pushing this. I remember, I think it was about 20 chapters or so when it was announced that it was going to get a physical release. And that's normally unheard of. They normally wait a little bit longer. But Kagurabachi is an amazing Shonen Jump series. Once this anime comes out, it's definitely going to be in that top tier. It's going to be, that next My Hero Academia, that next Demon Slayer type of series, I think. Because it is that good. It does slow down a little bit, but that's later on in the arcs, which I like. Let you really sink your teeth in, really get happy, really enjoy it, and then, slow it down a little bit, and now it picked right back up again. I cannot wait to continue reading this. After that is Wild Strawberry. So, Wild Strawberry it finally ended this year, and it's a little bittersweet because this is one of the best looking Shonen Jump series I've ever seen. I really cannot wait to get the physical releases for it because I really do enjoy it that much. So, think of the story, it's kind of like Fire Force combined with Jujutsu Kaisen, right? So in the world, people they bloom and they become these insane killer plants, and it's basically up to the Special Funeral Force to kill them. And for the MC, of course, he becomes one of these plants, but he's actually able to control it. Now, do you see what I'm getting at with the Jujutsu Kaisen Fire Force type of thing? You got random people out on the street, they just bloom, become killer plants, but the main character, he can, he's the only one, he can control it, so now he's going to use the powers to actually kill them. It's very standard shonen, but the artwork really helps it, and the story itself it helps as well, because it really is enjoyable. You know what you're going to get when you start reading Wild Strawberry, and I think it is going to be this will be a really nice anime. Hopefully it finally gets one. So next is Shinobi Undercover, and I absolutely been really loving this series. It's becoming an amazing, one of my favorites. I cannot wait to read it whenever I get, them weekly chapters. So the series is, it follows the greatest ninja, and he is an amazing ninja. He is amazing at only one aspect, just straight fighting. He has one thing on his mind, and that's to complete the mission, and that is to, defeat anyone that comes in his way and complete the mission. So he actually goes undercover, and he has to protect the girl who's some, diplomat's daughter type of thing. And what I like about it is that Yodaka, the main character, he actually has social anxiety. He completely freezes. He cannot talk to anyone basically at all. So he has to go into a high school and pretend to be this girl's best friend while protecting her. And what I really do love about it is actually the world building, especially when you start reading it past that first arc. You really get to see the world building of the ninja world that they have specifically, because they do have, fugitive ninjas. They do have, it's not Kekkei Genkai. If you've watched Naruto, it's not Kekkei Genkai, but it's something similar where, specific ninjas have certain powers. They call it something different. I can't pronounce what they call it, so in my head, I always just call it Kekkei Genkai. And it's amazing. That's what I really do love about this particular series, is the world building of it. Another weekly I am currently reading is Martial King. So the story begins with Jim Godspeed. He's presenting the corpse of his infamous outlaw father, M. Godspeed, right? So to enroll in the Western U.S. Martial Academy, because he actually does not want to be an outlaw. He wants to be the greatest martial that ever lived and basically kill all of the outlaws. So the only way to do that, because he's the greatest outlaw's son, he killed his own father and brought his body to them and said, "Let me become a marshal." And it's a lot more than that. He gets his team together and they start heading out so that he can train and become, the greatest marshal ever. The thing about this series is it's a little slower paced than I would like. So I don't know if I'm going to continue reading it right now, because I know right now I'm, I think, 2 or 3 chapters behind. We'll see if I really do continue it in 2026, because right now it is a little bit of a lull. But what's really drawing me in is the artwork of the series, because it has this way of making everything look golden, make everything look glinty, and it's beautiful. I mean, I've never seen that done in any manga series before, where like it's almost like it's a post-apocalyptic future western. So it's western, barren wasteland, but everything is futuristic. Like their guns are like gold plated, everything is gold plated, everything is metallic. So when the light hits it, you can actually see like the glint, and it really is beautiful. I didn't know manga artists can actually hit that type of detail. So I'm absolutely in love with that aspect of the series. But right now the story is taking a little bit of a dive. We'll see if I continue reading it. Now we got Black Clover. I absolutely love Black Clover. Black Clover is in a weird situation because it has been releasing quarterly actually. So, but the manga art creator, they've been making, I think it's like 3 or 4 chapters every quarter. So it's basically a monthly series, more or less. But I doubt, I think Black Clover is done at this point. I think there's maybe 2 or 3 chapters left. I don't really need to go into Black Clover. Everyone knows what that one is. So Black Clover, an amazing just magic series. I do really love their powers. The final fight for me is taking a little too long, but that's the issue with a lot of shonen series. That's that final fight just goes on forever. Now it's Dragon Ball Super. So I was reading Dragon Ball Super when it was coming out. Obviously, rest in peace Toriyama. But Dragon Ball Super I heard it's supposed to be continued by Torotaro. I don't know if that's the case. We're gonna see. Basically, as far as I know, Dragon Ball Super literally has one arc left, and that's gonna be Black Frieza. Slight spoilers, but it's gonna be the entire Z Fighters versus Black Frieza, and I don't know when that's gonna come out. I don't know even if it's gonna come out, but if it doesn't, Dragon Ball was an amazing series. It touched all of our lives. So I'm okay with how it ended. So that was all of the weekly series that I was reading throughout the entire year. And I'm not even halfway done. I'm already tired. So after that, we're going to get to my online series. So a series that I don't necessarily read, physically. I do probably read it physically after the fact. But for the most part, it's online. So the first one is A Condition Called Love. This one's a nice rom-com about 2 characters who they really don't know anything about love. The main character, he's just basically bombarding the girl with love because he really does truly love her. But the girl, she doesn't really know how she feels about anything, and she doesn't even really know what love is. So it's them 2 dating and basically trying to maneuver their way through their relationship, through the trials and tribulations. I do really enjoy it. I haven't read it in a little bit. I think I've read 10 or so volumes, maybe a little bit, maybe 9 or 10 volumes. There is an anime that was released, and I absolutely love the anime. It was so good. Now, I definitely recommend everyone probably check out the anime first, because the anime is a little more slower pace. My girl, actually, she dropped the series because she didn't like how the main character, the girl, how basically she was just aloof of the guy, her boyfriend who she's dating. She was just aloof of his feelings. So that's why she really dubbed the series. But I really do enjoy it. I've basically stopped reading a lot of manga more towards like the later half of this year. So I need to get back into things and actually go ahead and finish that series. I don't even know. I think it's still ongoing at this point, actually. After that, we have Witch Hat Atelier. Obviously, I have the physical right here, but I've actually been reading Witch Hat Atelier online, and I have not even cracked open the physical volumes as of yet. As of right now, I think I'm on volume 12 of Witch Hat Atelier. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stop reading it online. And once I have the complete physical collection, I'm actually going to reread from volume 1 all the way through, because that's normally what I do with series after a while. Because if it's been a while, if I haven't read it, I just start from the beginning and get through it. So I cannot wait to read Witch Hat Atelier. The anime was supposed to be coming out, but we don't know at this point. For Witch Hat Atelier, it's a world where magic is an innate aspect, right? So Coco, who's the main character, she's a commoner, but she actually learns how witches cast spells and they do that by drawing them in their notepads. And basically she creates a spell and she accidentally turns her mother into stone. And because of that, the only way to reverse it is actually to do the spell in reverse, but she can't remember what spell she actually did. So she actually becomes an apprentice witch, and her job is to gain all the knowledge and become a master witch so that she can get access to the library that has all of like the forbidden spells. And there she's going to actually try and find the spell that she used so she can fix her mother. Next is Blue Lock. So I did end up getting the first box set of Blue Lock, but again, I'm showing volumes right here that I do have in my physical collection, but I'm actually reading these online. So I'm up to volume 25, I think, of Blue Lock, and I absolutely love it. This is just an amazing soccer sports series, and I don't like soccer whatsoever, but it's an amazing sports series about these kids that they want to become the greatest striker ever. So they go into like this training program, and it's just straight up like battle royal soccer so that they can become the greatest striker. And they all start learning, different parts about themselves. They start learning about like different abilities that they have, and they start honing those strengths that they have to become the greatest striker. It is really, really fun. As of right now, I don't know if I'm gonna keep collecting the physicals right now. I think I'm gonna wait a little bit because damn, Blue Lock, it's a lot. I mean, 26 volumes. Do I really want that on my shelf as of right now? Probably not yet, but definitely I will at one point. I will have all of Blue Lock, the physicals, but right now I'm just reading it online because it's more easier that way. Another series I've been reading is Please Leave Akatsu-san. So this one is another rom-com. Y'all know me, I really do love my rom-coms. It's my like zen. So for this one, it's about a bully. She basically trespasses in the MC's house, and there she just, after school, I'm not leaving. She just pulls up to his house and she just says, I'm not going to leave at all. And he can't really get her out, and that's the basically gist of the story. He's low-key trying to get her out, but she doesn't want to leave, and because she's a bully, she can like beat him up. So it's a very nice rom-com. I really do enjoy it. I do love their chemistry because he wants her to go, but at the same time he doesn't want her to go, because at the end of the day, he's a teenage boy. So he has his own place like all these main characters do at like 16, 17. And he wants her to go, but he don't want her to go. So that's why I really like about Please Leave Akatsu-san. After that is actually Undead Unluck. So I actually went through the entire life cycle of this. So I watched the anime. I love the anime. I decided to actually read it weekly, which it actually was coming out weekly, but then it actually finished this year as well. So I did the entire life cycle of Undead Unluck, and it's amazing. So for this, I did finish it this year, like I said, and this follows Andy, who is undead, meaning that he actually can't die no matter what he does. He has that, Wolverine Deadpool healing factor. So Fuko, who is unluck, she actually has this stroke. She actually gives a stroke of unluck to anyone that she touches, and the greater connection she has to them, the worse the unluck is. So unfortunately, she actually killed her parents, and she ended up crashing their plane because of the unluck. So Andy, being the crazy person that he is, he's like, if I make this girl fall in love with me, and she gives me a kiss or whatever, and that's going to be the greatest stroke of unluck, and it's finally going to kill me. But the series is much more than that. You actually get to see like the source of everyone's powers, because it's not just them undead unluck. Everyone in this power has the ability to negate something. It's an amazing, just funny, action-packed series. I highly recommend the anime. I do have 2 volumes of this at the moment. I might actually go ahead and start picking this one up. I really did love Undead Unluck. It was fun. After that is another rom-com, and that's, More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers. So for this one, I really like this rom-com because it's about 2 students who have to live together for this type of school project. And because of this, they actually grow to fall in love with each other. And I really do love that part about it, because they, for whatever reason, this type of like crazy home economics type of class, they have to learn to be husband and wife, and then eventually they have to like part, like if they don't like each other, they actually have to switch partners eventually. So it's a whole thing, because they do low-key like each other, but then at the same time they want to switch because they actually have crushes on other people, but then those crushes go away because their crushes have crushes on other people. It's like a whole crazy like love, geometric shape at this point. Not even love triangle. But I do love this rom-com. It's really nice and it's fun. I do think right now it's on hiatus. I don't know for how long or when it's going to come back. But once it does, I'm going to continue to read it. I really do enjoy this one. After that, we have Fire Punch. So I read all of Fire Punch actually online, and because I loved it so much, I actually picked up the physicals and read it again physically. So Fire Punch is by Tatsuki Fujimoto, creator that made Chainsaw Man, and this series is by far insane. So whenever I think of this series, it's really like a fever dream. So where is it here? Basically, the series follows Agni, and he has the ability to heal himself. So what he does in this post-apocalyptic frozen land, where there's basically no food, there's no water, everything is just frozen over, he actually cuts off his arms and he feeds them to his villagers, his fellow villagers. And that's basically just how they survive. So he's doing this while a general pulls up to the village, and eventually he sees that, oh, you're a bunch of village of cannibals. And this general's ability is actually to basically set an Amaterasu fire that will never go out until it completely burns its target. So because of that, the general, sets fire to the entire village, sets fire to Agni's little sister, kills her, sets fire to Agni. But here's the problem. Agni cannot die because of his healing factor. So right now, Agni has been on fire for 8 years. After 8 years, he's finally able to just move, and now he sets off on his revenge plot to kill the general that burned his entire village. So that sounds amazing, right? Here's the problem. That's probably volume 1 and 2. This series turns left, turns right, upside down, diagonal, sideways. This series is the most insane, just crazy, altogether plot I've ever seen. But it's good. And it doesn't feel as crazy while you're reading it. It's not until at the end when you're like, what the hell just happened? But I do really enjoy Fire Force. Fire Punch. I like Fire Force. This is Fire Punch. I do really enjoy Fire Punch. It's so good, but it's so insanely wacky that it's hard for me to recommend it to people, because that aspect of the series is literally 2 or 3 volumes. There's, I think, 8. I think there's 8 volumes. And I can't tell you what happens in the rest, because it'll be just straight spoilers. So check out Fire Punch, but it is really good. Next, I read The Long Summer of August 31st. This is, again, another rom-com. Y'all notice something, especially my online series, are normally rom-coms, just because it's fun for me to read. So it's about 2 high schoolers, Takaya and Kana. I probably butchered that first name. So they're trapped in a time loop, and they're just repeating the same day of August 31st. And for me, it's a real slow burn, but it's a short series, which is why I enjoyed it. So I do like my rom-coms to be more of a shorter series. I can't remember if I finished it. I think I did. But this one I read very, very early on. So I actually have to reread this one to really understand what happened. But it's a good series. I do like this one. Now we have The Climber. So as you know, I've been picking up The Climber here physically. I'm actually read about up to maybe volume 6 or so online. And I've currently stopped because I'm just going to go ahead and do what I'm going to do with Witch Hat Atelier. I'm just going to reread the physicals. So this is an amazing sports series, and it's about a loner who just wants to ice climb. And the problem with that is ice climbing is not necessarily an alone sport. So you're supposed to have a team with you. You're supposed to have people to look after you so you can, stay safe. But he doesn't care about anything. He just wants to go ahead and ice climb by himself. And he puts other people at danger because of it. Because they try to, talk about him and things like that. It's an amazing, just seinen sports series that I do like only because it doesn't take place in high school. It's in high school for a very short amount of time, but then it's the time skip, and then you see basically what this guy has to go through to just rock climb, because rock climbing is not a cheap hobby. So he is basically living off of nothing, eating every other week, just saving up money for the climbing equipment and the permits and stuff, so he can actually do these crazy rock climbing and ice climbing feats. The next thing is, the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy. I actually just started reading this one because of the Crunchyroll manga app that just dropped. So I started reading this, and I'm actually surprised at how much I really, really like it. It did take the internet by storm when it dropped, but I didn't think it was going to be this good. I thought it was going to be more hype. So for this one, Aya, who is I'm probably butchering all these names. So she likes this boy that she meets at the record store, but it turns out that the boy is actually her classmate, Mitsuki. So their relationship actually deepens as they connect over their shared love of music. And I actually really do love this series because I actually do like rock music myself. That's one of my favorite types of music. So they actually do, bond over their love of more rock music. And because Anya, the main girl, she's more of the popular crowd, so she's technically not supposed to be liking that type of music, but she gets to share this with someone else, and that's what she really does enjoy. And I do love seeing their relationship build. It's very cute. It's very warming. I'm just a little upset because there's only 2 volumes on the Crunchyroll manga app. I want to read more. And now my last series that I've been reading online, I put this in online instead of weekly because I've actually never caught up to this one, and it's Mission Yozakura Family. So I actually really enjoy this series. I started reading this after I read Twin Star Exorcist. So for this one, Totayo, who's the guy, he's the only one that can talk to his childhood friend Matsumi, she's secretly the head of this insane spy family. So in order to stop Masumi's brother from killing him, they actually have to end up getting married, and so he joins the spy family as a completely raw recruit. And it's an insane series because he has to train just like they do, but he didn't even know spies existed. So it's a very fun rom-com silly series I really do enjoy. I stopped reading this because again, life was life, and so I stopped reading a lot of stuff, but I definitely need to get back on this one because I really do enjoy this. And I think it's still ongoing. I might be wrong, but I'll find out eventually. Okay. I'm tired. Alright. 2 parts down, 1 more to go. I'm tired already. This is a longer video than I thought. So the last thing is my physical series. So these are the physical books that I have been reading. These are the ones that are in my collection. These are the ones that I don't read online at all. So my online section, it's a mix. I have it as my online section because 95% of it I read first online, and I basically either finish it or read a good chunk of it first. So that's why I see it as online, and then I'll get the physicals. This next section is strictly only physicals. I do not read anything online. So let's get started with JoJo Part 6. So here is Stone Ocean, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and this one I basically finished reading this year because Part 7 Steel Ball Run came out this year, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is amazing. Watch the anime of Stone Ocean. It is really, really good. So JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has the same stuff as always. You have Jolene Kujo, who's the daughter of Jotaro Kujo. So she's in jail, but she needs to get her father's memories and stand back from the evil villain Pale Snake. So I finished reading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure this year, and that was an amazing series. But JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is JoJo's, so I don't need to go into it too much. Next, Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. I absolutely love this series. What is this one? This is volume, wow, I can't even tell, 17. So this is volume 17. So I do read this as they come out physically, and I absolutely love it. So after a zombie apocalypse breaks out, the main character, Akira, he's just happy he doesn't have to go to work anymore. So after all, the crazy shenanigans, him and his friends, they actually are trying to find a cure for the zombie apocalypse right now. So that's what's going on currently. I love this series. It's so fun. I'm a little terrified because I don't want this to go more than 25 volumes. So we'll see where it ends. Next after that is Candy and Cigarettes. This one was so heartbreaking. So Candy and Cigarettes, the last volume actually came out this year, and I read it. And I low-key kind of cried because I did not want this to end. There's no reason I enjoyed this series as much as I did. So this series, it follows an 11-year-old assassin and her handler who, he was a cop, but he needed money for his grandson's medical bills, so he took a job with this assassin organization. So I love this because I love their dynamic, because it really is like a granddaughter-grandfather relationship. Because at the end of the day, you know, she's an 11-year-old assassin. If she's an assassin at that age, you know her childhood was not good. And he's there just trying to give her the childhood and have her be a child. And I absolutely love it. Their relationship is amazing. I definitely need to just reread this again, because I was reading it as it was coming out. But I need to like read this back to back. Next should be another one that needs no, say so. It is Solo Leveling. So right now, this is volume 13 of Solo Leveling. I actually read all of Solo Leveling online a few years ago, when it actually was coming out weekly. Yeah, I think it was weekly. And I love Solo Leveling so much, as pretty much everyone does, because the anime is like well renowned. I don't know, no one knows at this point when we're getting the next season. That's why I always recommend just read the manga. It's amazing. And I think it's almost over. With this volume, it's almost over, but we still have a good chunk left. Next, we have Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. So here is volume 8 of Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. This one is actually really fun, but I kind of messed up because I think this is an insanely long series, and I did not know that when I picked this up. So this one follows the main character, where he is basically reading the light novel, and he was actually the only reader of this light novel. So once the final chapter released, he read it, and at the end, his entire world became the world of that light novel. So now he has to use the knowledge he's gained from reading the light novel to basically survive and make it to the end and survive all these different challenges. So Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint, it's hard to explain. That's the best I can do at that point. Yeah, I gotta check this out. At least read the first volume, because I do know it's on the Webtoon app, so check that one out. I also read the final volume of Watch Dogs Tokyo. So Watch Dogs Tokyo is exactly what you think it is. It's basically a manga version of the game that takes place in Tokyo. And it's the same. If you played the game, you probably enjoy Watch Dogs Tokyo, because it's really a lot the same thing. You have the main villain organization. They're trying to they rig the political voting stuff with their CTOS and whatnot, and obviously the main character, he's a cop, and he tries to stop them, and he uses the help of DedSec, which is the hacker crew. So it's hard to recommend this one, but I enjoyed it because I really did love Watch Dogs. Next, we have one of my favorite series of all time at this point, and that is Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You. So I am not current with this right now. I think I have all 5 volumes, but I'm currently on volume, 3, only because for this particular series, I read this when I'm having a bad day, because this type of series, it's my complete zen. I absolutely love it. It's so good. So this does follow a office worker. His name is Sasaki, and he finds solace in just smoking behind a supermarket, where he actually meets a cashier called Tayama. Again, probably butchering it. So she's actually secretly the same person who is his therapeutic idol, Yamada. So because they're the same person, it's funny him interacting with both of them, not knowing that they're the same person because they dress so differently. I don't know what it is. This series is just so relaxing to me that whenever I read it, no matter what's going on, I'm just happy at the end of it. Next, we have Psycho-Pass. So right now, this is one I'm actually reading right now. So I'm currently in the middle of volume 3 of Psycho-Pass. So this is actually a prequel to the Psycho-Pass anime. So this takes place when Kogami was an inspector, and it follows an insane case about these artificial organs that are actually killing people, because these artificial organs have timers that kill them at the end of it. So they're trying to just figure out what's going on with those artificial organs. And if you like Psycho-Pass, I don't really recommend the manga, unfortunately. The manga can get a little bit confusing, so just stick with the Psycho-Pass anime. Now we got one of my favorite reads, and that was Soul Eater. So I read all of Soul Eater. So here is volume 17 of the Perfect Editions. I read everything of Soul Eater this year. Absolutely loved it. It's so good. Unfortunately for me, I actually prefer Fire Force. So I'll tell you what happened right now. So for those of you who don't know, because Soul Eater is a little bit old at this point, it's about a group of kids that are trying to make the death scythe for the Shinigami, which is right here, death. And the way they do that is they have their weapon, their spirit weapon, they consume 99 wicked souls and 1 witch. So because of that, they're doing all this stuff to try and make, create a death scythe. The issue I didn't like about Soul Eater was the fact that for about, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 volumes, stuff was just happening. There really was no plot. It wasn't until, a certain person escaped that basically there was a plot for the series. But before that, there really wasn't a plot. They were just doing, it was almost like an episodic thing. They were just doing stuff day by day. That's the only reason I put Fire Force above Soul Eater. But everyone gotta check this one out. It's amazing. Then I read Parasite, the full color editions, and I absolutely love this series. It's so good. So parasites are aliens who live by invading the heads of humans and taking over. But the main character's alien, his name is Mugi. He actually did not get the main character's head. He got the main character's hand. So now he has to learn how to coexist with the main character who is human. At the same time, all the other aliens who did, invade correctly, they're actually after both of them because they're like, oh wait, you're different, so we have to kill you. And that's literally it. I really do enjoy it. It's fun, it's insane, and it's a nice beginner horror series for, I think, everyone. Now we have Black Paradox. This is actually the only Junji Ito series I have in my collection. It's actually the only one that I enjoyed. So I'm not a big fan of Junji Ito's work. I've tried a lot of them. I didn't like them, but I absolutely love the Black Paradox. So for this one, you have 4 individuals with different reasons for self-deletion. There's a nurse that's fearing the future, a man haunted by his doppelganger, an engineer with a robot clone that's after him, and a woman with an insane birthmark that thinks people are going to end her. So they meet online and then they embark on a journey that leads them to a strange, cosmic event. Because this series is so insane that you basically find out what the soul is. You find out what, different things. You just have to check this one out. It's hard to explain because the series is kind of like Fire Punch. It just goes left. Now we have Wash It All Away, at my absolute, one of my favorite series I'm currently reading. So Wash It All Away, I always say this, it's Studio Ghibli vibes. It's just so relaxing, so just peaceful. So this one is an amazing slice of life that follows Kitsune, who's just running her own laundromat. And it's just chill, it's relaxing. And even the most mundane stuff, it's just good for this series. It's weird. What really hooked me though is the mystery aspect where she doesn't have her memories. So she's just living her life not caring that she doesn't remember most things. She doesn't want to get her memories back. Not necessarily. She's not looking to get them back. She's just enjoying life, helping out the people in her town, and just running her laundromat. Next, we have Initial D. So right now, I'm on volume 5. I do have up to volume 7 right now. Like I said, I've been behind. So this is about the different series I've read, not about all the different volumes I read. So with Initial D, it is a great sports series about just street racing. So it follows Takumi, who's just a tofu delivery driver and knows absolutely nothing about cars until his friends, who they actually are racers on a race team, they see him drive, and Takumi quickly becomes, obviously the best driver on any of these mountains because his father was actually the best driver and taught him everything he knows. And I enjoy this series because if you're like me, I know absolutely nothing about cars. I know nothing about racing. So I'm a lot like Takumi, and if you're like me, if you're like Takumi, the series does a great job at teaching you what it is to enjoy racing, teaching you what it is to know about racing without being too technical with everything. So I really do love this sports series. It's good. I see why everyone wanted this series to come back. Now the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. I hate that name. But I do love this series. So this is volume 7. This is the volume I read this year because this series is very sporadic. It doesn't come out too often. So the title really just says it all. The world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. So he gets reincarnated as a baby, and he gets reincarnated in an aristocratic family who are also actually assassins. So he uses obviously the knowledge he already knows from being a world-class assassin, and he combines that with the magic techniques that his family has because he has reincarnated in a fantasy world. And the whole point he's reincarnated is because the god of this world wants him to kill the hero, but only after the hero kills like the final villain or whatever. I don't know, but it's good. That's why I really loved it. Definitely check out the anime. The anime is slept on with this one. Now we have Mr. Villain's Day Off. Now this is another one that I have not finished reading, but this one is so good. I actually started off by watching the anime, and I quickly just needed to pick up the physicals. So this is a fun slice of life about an alien who wants to take over the world, but he treats like his villain stuff and just taking over the world as like a day job. So the series follows what are his days off from not taking over the world. So he really just goes, to the zoo. He goes to see the pandas, or he probably goes to the coffee shop for like a panda latte. It's a nice, just chill read. I really recommend, just checking this one out because it's just funny, the things that he goes through, and he's supposed to be this dastardly villain that's trying to take over the world. And now we've gone to the next part, which is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7, Steel Ball Run. This one is scary because I actually did not like the first volume. So I did not like the first volume of this whatsoever, but volume 2 hooked me right back into it. So that's a good sign. I was terrified I was not going to like this one. So for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's where, the participants, they compete for a large cash prize in what's the Steel Ball Run, which is a cross-country race throughout the entire America. So I don't know where the series is going to go because this is the one that doesn't have an anime, so I'm just reading it as it comes out. Volume 1 was scary. 2 hooked me back in, and I do still need to read 3, so we're gonna see how I feel about this in 2026. Another thing that I read, and I'm super excited, was actually Call of the Night. Y'all know how I feel about Call of the Night. I absolutely just love this series. So I actually started reading this again only because of the Paradise arc. So if you don't know, Call of the Night came back with a single arc, the Paradise arc, which actually takes place in the time skip at the very ending of the volume, the ending of the series, my bad. And it's amazing. It just brought back my love for Call of the Night, so I decided to reread the entire series physically because I never did before. I only read it online first. So I reread the entire series, and everything about it is just, I love it. This is in my top 3 favorite series for a reason. After that, we have Toxic Daughter Chichan. So for this one, it's an insane horror series that is just the single volume. It's actually a prequel to a movie that's called Toxic Daughter. So for this one, you have Yua and Kodai. They attempt to reintegrate a mysterious outcast. Her name is, Chichan, into just normal school life. But their good intentions, it leads them to a very disturbing and violent situation. And this is basically how I'm assuming the main character in the movie, how she became that insane serial killer main character. And I do enjoy it. This actually did make me want to watch the movie. I really picked this up just because it was a single volume, and because it was done by Shuzo Oshimi. But I like this one. It wasn't too bad. Now we have Goodbye Eerie. I was after Fire Punch, I was on a little bit of a Tatsuki Fujimoto kick. So with Goodbye Eerie, Yuta films his mother's death, and then he meets Eerie, who actually inspires him to make a new film. But the funny thing is about that film is that it actually blurs the lines between reality and fiction. Because if you know anything about Tatsuki Fujimoto, nothing can ever be simple. This is an amazing one-shot. Absolutely think everyone should check this one out. It's hard for you to explain Tatsuki Fujimoto's work without spoiling it because of the insane twists that always happen in all of their series. Like Look Back, for example. So he's another one that I read this year. So this one follows the friendship of 2 girls, the confident Fujino and shut-in Koyimoto, who connect through their love of drawing manga for the school newspaper. And it's just, watch the movie. This got a movie for a reason. It's amazing series. I really do like this one. It's nice, it's fun, it's gut-wrenching, which I really do like. But again, Tatsuki Fujimoto has those insane twists. And now I just want to talk about 2 series, right? So these are series that I was actually reading throughout most of the year, but I dropped. So the first one was Solo Leveling Ragnarok. So that is the sequel to Solo Leveling. I was reading it for a little bit. I didn't like it. I don't think it was that good. So I dropped that one. That one, it follows his son, and his son ends up having like the similar power that he does, and it's just a whole. I didn't think there needed to be a sequel. I like Solo Leveling in its contained bubble. That was fine. And then next thing I dropped, I'm a little bit sad I dropped, it was actually Shiba Inu Rooms. So Shiba Inu Rooms follows a girl who moves into a haunted apartment where each room is inhabited by a ghost of a Shiba Inu. And it's a real nice slice of life series. And I'm sad that I dropped this one only because I didn't drop it because it was bad. I dropped it because I fell behind 6-7 chapters, because I was reading this weekly. I fell behind like 6 or 7 chapters, and I just don't want to go back to it. That's it. Like it's good, but it doesn't. And it kept me reading weekly, but it's not good to the point where it's like, all right, now I gotta binge this and just bust this out and catch up. Maybe I'll catch up. I'll think about it, but right now it's dropped, so I'm a little sad about that. Okay, I'm tired. I'm losing my voice. Okay, I'm done. I'm finally done. So that was 43 series that I read this entire year. Okay, I am not going to have my voice tomorrow. So, that was everything that I read throughout the year of 2025. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So, I know it's a lot. I didn't think it was going to be a lot. I think, and the funny thing is, this is actually a light year for me. I didn't read that much because, like I said, like the later half of the year, I just wasn't in the headspace to be reading manga aside from like my weeklies. So I didn't really pick up new series that I would have read normally. So that's everything that I've read throughout the entire year from January to December of 2025. Definitely let me know. I want to know what were some series that you were reading this year, or just like what were the heavy hitters that y'all read, because as you can see, I read a lot. If I had to say like my heavy hitters, it had to be probably obviously Smoking My Supermarket with You, Wash It All Away. I'm just trying to think back right now. Call of the Night. Let me see. And probably Soul Eater. Those are like some of my heavy hitters that I really enjoyed reading this year. This was a lot. Okay. So I'm just going to end the video here. If you guys are still watching, thank you so much, because this one I already know this is going to be a longer video than usual. So thank you so much if you made this far into the video. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new here and you like my content and you like what I'm doing, consider subscribing, leaving a like, hit the bell so no post no video. Follow me on Twitter. Links give me in the description. This is your boy Just. I'm off this.